The deadline in this sector for voluntary presentation at the experimental center is 6 o'clock.
You're supposed to be an artist. Use your imagination.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm all out.
What's happening, everybody? Sheldon J. Think About It Radio. Man, I hope everybody's having a good day today. I hope everybody's life is doing great. I hope everybody just keeping a smile on their face and keeping it moving, keeping it grooving, keeping it pushing forward. You did? Yeah. Want to do a little show tonight about credit, right? Something we all want.
That's exactly what I want.
To be better. Something we all need to be better. And so I decided to do a show to give some tips, insight, if you will, on how to grab a good credit score and maintain, and then keep it good, keep it well, keep the credit score good, because sometimes credit is like kind of like our back, right? We don't really think about it until it starts hurting or giving us problem, or we need to pay attention to it, right? So we want to just make sure that we maintain awareness, if you will, of how to grab a great credit score, and then once we grab it, not lose it, and how to get it. A lot of the credit card companies, a lot of the high interest rate lending institutions, sometimes they won't share information on how to improve credit scores because they win. They're going to get 18, 20%, 30%, 40% interest in some cases on your lack of knowledge of how to put yourself in a better financial situation with a better score. So they're going to benefit from your lack of knowledge. Okay. So first things first with the score. I mentioned it in the show before. You want to go to annualcreditreport.com and pull a copy of that credit report, right? Because you want to see what's on there. All right. And once you get that understanding what's on there, then now you can work a game plan, right? Because the scoring model is broken down into different percentages, right? Okay, 35% of your credit score is based upon your payment history, okay? You have 30% based upon your credit utilization, like basically meaning that if you have a credit card with a $500 credit limit and you're using $200 of that, divide that 200 by 500, that's your utilization ratio, okay? You want to keep that at 30% or below. That means that you're going to get the most points to the credit bureau. Most points are reported every month. The lower it is, the better. So if you use it, just say, for example, you use a credit card, right? You use it for a purchase. Make sure you just pay it off by the time that the due date comes. When the due date comes, you're going to make the payment, and then now wait a few days because there's a statement date that's going to come. That's the date they report that information to the credit bureaus. You want to make sure that shows as low as possible every month. All right. So that 35% of your own time payments and then the 30% of the credit utilization, that's 65% right there of your credit score. So if you just manage a good habit of paying on time, a good habit of just, being consistent, keeping your credit balance low, your utilization low on your card every month that's reported to the credit bureau, because every month they report it, that basically they're telling the credit bureaus, this is what you did this month, right? This is what you did. This is your activity. And so the better it is, the higher it's going to be for your score. And then the better opportunity you're going to have for that score to start increasing. 15% of the score is like a length of accounts, like the length of credit accounts that you have, like the older accounts you have. If you pay them off, don't wipe them off or don't get them deleted from your credit report. Let them stay there because you actually get better points from that as well, from the credit scoring model, due to the length of the time of the account. So the older the account, the better it is for your score. And so that's 15% of your score. And then you have like 10%, which is like credit inquiries, credit inquiries and stuff like that, like people that run your credit. And like if you go to a store, the holidays are coming up, right? You go to a store and they say, hey, well, we'll give you this here in 15%. You can sign up for a card. Now, you may not get approved for that card, but you'll immediately you'll receive that 15%. That sounds good, right? But that inquiry that they just did will be on your credit report for 2 years. And so that pulls down your score. It's not a huge, but it pulls it down in enough of them. You know, you keep talking, you know, 2 years, and you start getting these inquiries. All of a sudden, the bottom of your credit report, I have a whole bunch of people like, why are you getting your credit looked at so much? And to the scoring model, if you will, that looks negative because it kind of makes you seem desperate for credit. And so it becomes it comes to hit you in a negative way. Yeah, you'll save that 15%, but if you want to improve your credit score and you're trying to do something positive with your credit, or purchase a home, purchase a piece of property, or purchase a vehicle, or whatever that you're trying to purchase, which is improved score, those little dings can hurt you as well. Sometimes we don't think about it. So that's just a reminder, you know, in the midst of the holiday season and shopping and the discounts and stuff, if you know you have hits or issues with your score, that 15%, if you're trying to do something, that may not be worth it in the end. But I mean, I'm not trying to tell you not save your money. Go do what you got to do. Get you, you know, any way to save money for sure. But just kind of keep that in mind as well. You know, things of that nature. And then another thing, once the score starts getting cleaned up, right? Once you start establishing these habits of paying on time and keeping utilization low and stuff, you'll start feeling some kind of way, because you start seeing the results coming through. Another thing I want to say before I forget is grab some kind of credit monitoring system. CreditKarma.com is a good site. They have them with Capital One. If you have a credit card with Capital One, they have it with them as well. They have I think MyFICO.com, I believe, does one. Credit.com, I believe, has one as well. So meaning the reason why you want to get that, because it'll pull your credit report, but it won't count against your score. And then you'll have like a screen, a dashboard, if you will, of all your activity on your credit report. So once you start working on a game plan of improving the score and putting those habits in place, then you're going to start seeing them go up. Now, those models, they use what they call a FICO scoring, not a FICO scoring system, what they call a FACO. It's not the true scoring, the score that you would receive if you would apply for a home, but it gives you like a combination and an idea of the score, but it's not going to be your true score. But the reason why that's important to look at and to have some kind of monitoring system, though, is that you can get an idea of how credit works. You can get an idea of, if you do that, okay, you see the improvement. If you do that, you see the bad part about it, right? So it gives you an idea to where now you taking ownership of your situation. People pay for $5,000 a month or even more, or get on different plans and programs to get their credit improved. And sometimes it just takes time to sit down and focus on your situation, because honestly, nobody should want to, you know, be more responsible for you than you. Nobody should want to be able, you know, no one should have to do their legwork for you that you should want to do for yourself, because you want to be informed in your situation. Everyone has dings in their credit. Everyone has issues when it comes to credit, but there's always a way around that. There's something else I want to say as well. In reference to credit, in reference to getting a good score, do not let fear dictate pulling a credit report. I've heard people sometimes say, oh, I'm so scared of pulling this report because I don't know what's on there. You want to know what's on there, because now you're an informed consumer, and now you're equipped with what you need to go into every financial situation where lending occurs, and you know what's on your score. You know what's on your report, because you take ownership of that situation, right? So you want to know that, because that should be important to you more than anyone else. And that's important. So as you establish these things month after month after month, after you start cleaning up that old stuff that's on there, those old collections, either you're working on settlement agreements with those people in writing, if they send you something in writing, or you're doing pay for delete letters, right? You're getting that stuff cleaned up. That stuff is falling out. So as that happens gradually over time, you will start seeing that score go up. The magic number I put on the posting and everything was 700, because you want to get 700 to 720 for the score, because that's when banks want to start lending to you. They'll start seeking you out because you took the time to establish a good payment history and to be a good consumer, or be a good steward over what you had. You paid it off. You signed the note. You took your responsibility, and you did what you had to do to get that paid off, right? So there's rewards that come with that. So say if you want to have a business, say if you want to establish some kind of organization, say if you want to do something where lending from an institution, from a banking institution, comes into play. The higher the credit score, the better your opportunity to get some lending, right? But you're also going to have some capital, something that's worth something. You know, instead of buying a lot of stuff that we throw away or we give away, stuff, you know, get stuff that's going to earn value. Get things that are going to earn value, like, you know, homes and nice vehicles as well. But I mean, the vehicle's not the end all be all because they lose value real easy. But you just want to have some kind of assets to say, okay, you're going to give me this money, and if whatever happens, I can't pay it back. You know, this is the collateral that's paid upon the money. So you want to try to own something, you know, have something to own, because now you're able to barter and trade, and then even on a bigger level, because now you're working with a higher score, and you're working with not just thousands of dollars, you're working with hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can do some things with it, and because you exercise discipline and you've shown yourself worthy of, hey, I'm going to be a responsible person with whatever you allow me to have, right? So there's good things that come with that. A lot of times we'll sit in 500, 600 credit score range, you know, and the 500 area is a killer, because, yeah, you can get an apartment with it, but you got to pay a whole lot of deposit. Yeah, you can get a car with it, but you got to pay a grip to get the down payment, right? You know, yeah, you can get a house, but you got to put so much down to get it. So the higher it is, the less you have to come out of pocket. So why do you think people that like people that have, I guess, wealth access are able to accumulate some things financially? They have that. They are able to accumulate some of these things because they have a higher score and they're paying less. They're paying less for the same products that you're getting and using because they're coming out of pocket, so they can go out on vacations with the money they're saving. They can reinvest their money or whatever they decide to do, because they're not spending all their money in its unnecessary interest, because you're sitting in 500, low 600 range with your credit score, right? Yeah, you got the stuff, you got the car, but honestly, if you're paying a high interest rate, that stuff got you. So the goal is to just plug away. Keep chopping, keep working, keep grinding, keep doing whatever you have to do to get that thing where you want it to do. So that now you can network with other people that have great financial ideas, other people that have great plans for things for their community, other people that have great business minds, because now you have the credit and the access to the capital that you need to pull off whatever you need to pull off. Then it stops just being a conversation. Then it actually starts being something, because you have built a bridge of positive credit, if you will, to get you to where you want to go, right? And then once you get there, it's like eating a great meal, right? You want to tell everybody about it. You want to make sure that everyone knows how awesome this place is, that you got this great meal. Same thing with good credit. Same thing with the access to capital. Same thing with being able to do something with the sweat from your brow, your mind, your discipline, and able to actually see that play off every single day. Every single day. Because you took the time to pay attention to your situation. Novel idea, novel concept. But you'd be amazed at the amount of people, if you will, if you want to be proper, the amount of people that do not focus on their own. Because sometimes other stuff looks better, seems better. And, you'll never really focus on your own situation, especially if it's an ugly situation, right? You don't want to look at anything ugly. But I would encourage every last person that's taking the time to listen, taking the time to, hear what I have to say for a few minutes, right? To take ownership of your situation. And once you start seeing those results, share that information. Share those results. Share all of that. Have meetings. Have conversations. Have discussions in reference to, hey, this is what I did and it worked. The formula is the same. It works. You just have to be consistent with it and not greedy, and not unnecessarily beating other people down because they're not where you are, because you took some information and was able to produce something from it. That's the thing. We have to be able to produce something rather than steady being consumers, steady asking for something, steady wanting somebody else to do something. We got all we need. All we have to do is exercise some discipline with what we have. And you can have a 700 score. Your friends can have a 700 score. Parents can have a 700 score. Credit is non-discriminatory. everybody can do something, man.